Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Go time? You know what that means? You're here. I am so glad. Deborah says she's happily here. I'm so glad. And I hope you are happily here too, because you know what? Today is the last day of the week for us as far as the show goes, because Fridays, we don't do Fridays anymore. And that's okay, right? That's okay. Hello, Catherine and Martha. It's really nice to have you all here. We are going to wrap up the week. We've been talking about these people out there, these thought leaders out there from the 19th and the 20th century. And rather than talk about somebody they keep talking about the same thing, I thought I would go do a little bit of a deep dive into the reticular activating system, because that's what they're talking about. And talk about a little bit how we can really harness this particular power that we all have inside of our brains. So we're going to be talking about that. Hi, Jocelyn. I'm glad you're here. So meanwhile, how's your sleep? By the way, do you know your sleep is one of the indicators of where you are health-wise? There's one thing that I will never be without, and that is our sleep ease. Sleep ease is fantastic, because sleep ease isn't just about one thing. It's about 5 or 6 things on there. Every single one of the ingredients in sleep ease addresses part of sleep. Sometimes we just need to calm down and get our brains to just shut the heck up so we can go to sleep, right? Other times we need to be, just rested up and lose the stress and get to sleep. And other times we need to stay asleep. Every single ingredient in this helps us with this. And I told you yesterday I take 2 of these, so does Mark, and it is one heck of a great supplement. We formulated it. Nobody else has it. You can find it at savingdinner.com/show. The reason I tell you this is because if you buy 3, you're going to get the 4th one for free. That's a great deal, right? I'm excited about that. So go take advantage of that. That's a great deal. And the other thing is, are you prepared and are you ready for the Hot Melt 30? If you are, then you're going to want to go to savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. If you're saying, what the heck is that? Then you're definitely going to want to go there and check out the page. There's also a sign up there so that you can go to the webinar, which is absolutely free, which will be happening on the 22nd, right? Isn't the 22nd? Yeah, May 22nd. So a week from not this Monday coming up, but the Monday after. So you can get yourself signed up. Don't dilly-dally on that, okay? This is the game changer. This is the needle mover. This is the one thing that many of our people have used as the propellant, if you will, to really take off, because it changes and shifts habits. It gets you into the place of not just doing a 7-day sprint, but doing a 30-day sprint and adding in little tiny changes of habits to help you to become that vibrant woman you want to be. Living life in full bloom? Of course that's you. Of course that's what you want. Hi, Alice. So I'm excited about that. Go get that. savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. That's how we're going to know about that. Hey there, Jeanette. Welcome. So last but not least, and I would be remiss in not mentioning this, Full Bloom is coming. This is our virtual event that we do one Saturday in the spring, and it's coming. It's a week from this Saturday, on Saturday, May 20th, and it's about brightening your light. It's about becoming a little bit more shiny, a little bit more optimistic, a little happier with your life. Wouldn't you love that? I think we all would. Sometimes we spend a lot of time focusing on the things we don't have, and we need to really dial in some changes and see the things that we do have. But it's not that simple. That's why I'm really excited to share with you what this is all about for our all day event. Yes, we break for lunch, we break for potties, we have workshops, sessions all the way through. There are handouts, and you're just going to have the best time with your girls. And it's pretty much a party. I will tell you, I love this so much, and you get tons of Q&A after every session. There's a Q&A, so you can ask questions and get clear on things. You'll be able to take notes. You get a swag bag, all kinds of goodies. Savingdinner.com/bloom. That's where all that is. And last but not least is our quote of the week, which is a zinger. Failure is only postponed success as long as courage coaches ambition. The habit of persistence is the habit of victory. That's so good. I love those juicy ones like that. That one does put the hairs up on the back of my neck. I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty darn juicy. That's what I have to say about that. Anyway, let's get busy with this, because we're going to be talking today about the reticular activating system. We talked about all kinds of people and what their beliefs were, and this was just from their, we're talking 19th century, early 20th century. This is when all these, people stopped thinking that this is just my lot in life, and they thought, well, what can I do to make things better? How can I think about things better? What if I change some things up? Instead of operating from that brainstem, they were operating from their prefrontal cortex and becoming way better versions of themselves. And they introduced this to the masses, and people were just like, whoa, this is like weirdo woo-woo thinking. Little did they know what it was really about was the reticular activating system. Do you know the reticular activating system, that part of the brain, was not even discovered until 1949. So this was all done beforehand. I don't know about you, but I find that whole thing fascinating, because our discoveries oftentimes are made before we've got the facts to back it up, because that's how we live. That's how we see, that's how we do. And that's why I am so about all of this stuff, because when the brain science comes along, it's like, well, of course, doesn't that make sense? So the thought leaders then surmised a lot of this stuff about the reticular activating system without even know that it was a reticular activating system. So here are some things that you need to know about your own personal reticular activating system, right? Number one, it's your own personal cheerleader. Yes, you can turn on and turn off the negativity. You can decide and make a choice to be excited about something. Maybe you're just having a crappy day. It happens. But maybe you just need to tone it down and just say, you know what? Let's have a little motivational talk here. Look at what you have here. Look at this, the things around you and the people around you and your circumstances. A little gratitude never hurt anyone. So if you've got a goal, flip on the switch to your reticular activating system and start seeking that stuff out. Remember, it is like a heat-seeking missile. It is looking for its target every time. That's what happens with the reticular activating system. You can visualize to materialize is basically what it is. And you're programming your reticular activating system to go after it. Isn't that cool? It's sort of like, there's some people who have those Roomba vacuum cleaners. They vacuum without them. That's kind of how your reticular activating system is. All you have to do is press the go button, and it's going to go out there and do the work for you. Cool, right? Number two, it's also going to help you hone in your habits. Habits are, they're difficult. They're difficult to make, and sometimes they're difficult to break as well. However, it's like having a personal trainer. We're working this one particular muscle. We're working our biceps. We're working our glutes and our hamstrings and our quadriceps, all of it. when we're doing that. Today's leg day. Can you tell? I'm really dreading it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm after the show. I'm on it. Today's leg day. But guess what? When we strengthen that muscle, all kinds of benefits happen. Well, you know what happens if you strengthen your leg muscles. Of course, that's a protective layer around those bones of yours that's going to help you to age well, right? And feel better and not turn into a big ball of mush. But the point is that this will help you to keep your eyes on the prize. What are you going after? When your reticular activating system is on, knowing that you're going after a certain goal is going to switch on ideas and creativity for new habits to help you get to that goal. And the interesting part is you can brain dump all of this stuff into your journal and then pick and choose the things that work for you. I do that all the time because everyone needs to be operating off a personal, customized plan. Your plan might not work for me. My plan might not work for you. However, we can at any time completely customizably design exactly what it is that we want in this life. And our habits are going to get us there. Our goals are going to get us there. And our reticular activating system is in charge of it. Okay? And number 3, it's also your own personal reality show producer. What do I mean by that? Your reality is created seriously by you because sometimes, and I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. I don't mean like you're walking around with a magic wand going, this is your reality, this is it. This is what it is. This is the interesting part of it. When I say you create your own reality, it's you are noticing the things that you're telling your reticular activating system to notice. So for example, let's say you go to a party and you and your spouse go to a party and your spouse says at the end of the party says, well, that was kind of a bust, blah, 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 blah. And you're saying, not at all. It was a blast. I had the best time. You're in the same space. You're doing the same thing, talking to people, etc., maybe having a little wine and listening to some music. And you're both experiencing something different. Guess why? Reticular activating system is tuned on and tapped into the stuff that you are personally noticing. That's what that's all about. So we have a million bits of pieces of information to filter out constantly. We are bombarded with it. But when we have a trained reticular activating system, we can basically almost manipulate it to do exactly what it is that we want. Isn't that so cool? So I love that. And just remember, your take on reality is what your reticular activating system thinks you deserve to have as the spotlight. So this is why your talk to yourself is so important. This is why you need to be very, very careful and selective about the thoughts that you have and the experiences that you experience, even right down to the movies and the things that you watch on TV, because we have to protect. We have to protect our hearts. We have to protect our brains. We have to protect our thought life, big time. The other thing is you get what you give rule is part of the whole thing. So it's a law of attraction, you know. Let's say, you know, you focus on something like a particular car, your reticular activating system is going to think it all through and is going to put up those images for you when before you never saw them. And it's going to give you the information about that particular thing and help you to experience it even more. So, for example, one of the things that I have done, you know, when I remember when I got my first car, I had an old rickety car, and I decided when I got my first book contract, I was going to go buy a brand new car. And I just made a decision that I'm just going to walk in and go talk to the dealership. So I experienced the car. I went and sat in the car. I smelled the car. I did all the things that you're supposed to do, right, to really entrench yourself in what it was all about. Because for me, this was my kind of my sign of success. I just inked a deal with a big publisher for my first book. And so I wanted that car was basically a symbol of that. So I went and experienced it all, and then I made it happen after that, right? So these are the things that we need to do. I did that with this house. I told you that story about going and looking at houses I could not afford, but still, and having little voice memos on my phone talking that I'm standing on my dock looking out on my view, this, that, and the other thing. These are the things that what we're doing is training our reticular activating system. This is what I want. Your reticular activating system doesn't understand what you can afford or not afford, right? Or it doesn't have a moral compass or anything like that. It's just going to start attracting in those kind of things. So if you want to experience this, then experience it and allow for the unfolding and the experience. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's true, and I'm living proof. The next one is that your reticular activating system is your mindfulness mate, okay? Mindfulness is really being in the moment. It's noticing the things around you. It's having the perception of life is good and life is always working out for me on my behalf, and that I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying the people around me. I'm enjoying my friendships. I'm enjoying my community. I'm enjoying the food on my table. I'm enjoying, right? When we start to do that, we train our brain to focus on today, on the present. We don't go back and live that same old negative Groundhog Day loop, right? We don't think about those things. We think about here and now and the love that we have and the people that are in our lives and how grateful and how happy we are. That's part of training your reticular mindset, your reticular activating system as well. It's a 5-pronged approach. It's just, these are just some of the things you need to notice, but the practices need to be incorporated in so that you can get the most that you can out of this. And the first one, of course, is having goals. You know, I've shown you, oh my goodness, it's upstairs. No, is it? No, it is upstairs. Take Back Your Life Journal. And Take Back Your Life Journal does all of this in the sentencing that we use for our goals. We take our goals, we drill them down, we create out of them affirmations that are intentional in present tense that are written down every single day. And as we do this, we are literally training our reticular activating system. This is what we're after. This is what we want. And we choose differently. One of the big ones that I had was I am an athlete, joyfully training at the table and at the gym daily. And what happened to me was I changed my mind on a lot of things. It was a subconscious thing. I changed my mind on a lot of things. Before I used to say, oh man, I just don't want to do it. I would say, you know what? I'm just going to go do 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes would turn into doing the full session. And it changed everything. And it got me to the place of doing the things that I knew I needed to do and would sometimes put off. So I mean, not 100% foolproof, but a whole lot better than where it was. So that's really important, the goals, and then visualizing exactly what it is. Like I said, going and looking at the car, at the house, affirmations in the positive I am statements, meditating and being mindful. All of these things bring it all in together. But you know what ties it all together? It's your environment. And I have one thing for you. Those of you who are struggling with clutter and struggling with other stuff like that and just have stuff everywhere, clear it out. And you're thinking, oh, easily said than done, right? Well, you know, I've done it. But I also want to let you know, too, that as you clear out the stuff and the junk and the no longer necessary, no longer needed stuff, as you clean up, as you decorate, as you do all of these things, you are making room for the things that you do want. We only have so much room to hold so much stuff or things or whatever. That's why you see people with magazines stacked up to the ceiling, right? They're running out of room. They go and they get storage bins or whatever to put stuff in. But I learned a really important lesson, and it also works with the reticular activating system, because once the stuff is gone, now the reticular activating system is creative and can think of things that it needs to do and how it can help you to create the exact life that you want. And your environment holds you all up. Your environment is what you are in. It's what you see daily. You need visual peace so that you can have inner peace. You need the visualness of life is always working out for you. And that's why we need to make room in our lives for all of this stuff. So remember, meditate, become clear, become centered, and use your morning and your evening rituals for some self-care, and start training your reticular activating system. This is one of the most powerful things you own on the planet. It's yours. Train it up. Okay, there you go. Reticular activating system for the win. All right, I appreciate you so much showing up for me and being here and all of that. Remember to go and check the announcements page, savingdinner.com/announcements. Lots of stuff coming up. I don't want you to miss any of this. You know, you might be our next Tanya story. You know, the Hot Melt 30 is the thing that pushed her over the edge, if you will, and habituated the Hot Melt way of life. What would you do for that? I bet you'd love that. You can train it up. It's part of your reticular activating system. Do the Hot Melt 30. Go to savingdinner.com/announcements for any of the announcements that you missed at the top of the show. And I will see you on Monday. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.